All right, this is Breakdowns with Bromley.
What?
I'm Chris Bromley. This is Phil Birch, and we're here to talk about Phil Birch's win 40 years ago in
Yeah, it was.
2016.
We're talking about 40 years ago, not any of my recent accomplishments of going second in every event.
Like every event, it's been. I mean, that's one of the reasons I wanted to get you on here is because, like, if you were able to take like 4 second places and just add them together into a character, you'd probably have like 6, right?
Let's see. I actually am really good in the finals. For what it's worth, I've not lost in that many finals. It's getting there. That's the I gotta turn this background off. Probably. I can't even hand gesture. I gotta turn it off. All right. Yeah. Okay. Now the hand gestures show up again. I have not actually made that many second places at events, for what it's worth. Like,
Okay.
I know there's some people who are super good at second place, like Jeremy Ray. I am not. I either have generally been like I win, or I'm in dead last. It is like very little in between. Typically, I have very few top cut performances where I'm not either like first or last place. So I think even at like a national level. I think I've only gotten second place 3 times, and 2 of them were in teams, like on like a big stage.
I'm sure there'd be like a billion people who'd be okay with that record, though.
Oh, yeah. There are a lot of people who would be okay to have won 4 times.
Yeah, pressing company included. Yeah.
Yeah. Like a lot of people would be all right with that. I kind of still like to strive for a bit more usually when I play, unless I'm just not okay with the meta. So.
Right.
Sometimes that happens sometimes, but I'm always going to show up to events because I like just seeing people, even if I don't like the meta at the time.
Well, so all that notwithstanding, we could have talked about 100 things. I mean, like the Scorpion desk comes to mind because of how nuts that character is and how crazy Shadow Slicer is for the deck.
Yeah.
And you played Tim Keefe too, and like the other guy, the guy who diversified Shane, right?
Yeah.
And came real close to winning that event. But I wanted to talk about Jiffany Jamber because I've been seeing, like, anytime that character gets brought up and a new player sees it, they're like, this character sucks. It doesn't have any abilities, right?
Yeah. I actually, funny story about that. A lot of people, like, even when it came out, were like, what's the purpose of this? Like, it's not going to do anything. A lot of people, like myself included, when it first was released, I was like, okay. All right. I mean, I guess this is fine. It's like a random promo to give to new players so they have something to do, I guess. So yeah, it was. I was not excluded from this is going to be random and not even relevant technology. Also, character technically was never legal. Technically isn't banned, just never existed.
Really?
That character is not on the ban list.
Tell me that story.
So Jesco Games in like 2016, I believe that actually the character came out in like 2015 or 14, was just like, hey guys, so we're going to change up the meta a little bit and do some weird, crazy things. Cause, originally like Red Horizon and, Tides had rotated and then they unrotated them. They literally did this. Like around the time of, Warrior of the Night, was that the Darkstalker set?
Yeah.
Something like that. They released, like, they got like rotated out. So there were a couple of events, and like I won one of the events, and it had to have been 2014 or 2015 with Gemini Man, where there were not Tides and Red Horizon cards, and then there were again, like a little bit while later. That was around the time of like Summer Heat and stuff like that, which was just a nutty card, by the way. Free cards and then it untaps. It's kind of like Wandering Pirate, but you get a free card also.
My favorite bit in the video you did with TCGU in 2016, like right after the event, you were explaining all the cards. You're like, Pharaoh Shot's nuts. People don't tap 1 for the 6 check, even though it's literally -2 speed to attacks. Blah, but you're going super in depth into every single card, and it's a great video. I'm going to put it in the description because it's so great.
Perfect. I would actually, I'm gonna, after this is done, I'm gonna actually go back and watch it as well because
my favorite bit in there, and you should watch it. My favorite bit is you drop down 4 Summer Heat, and you said, "I don't need to explain this. If I need to explain it, you're bad, and fuck up."
Okay. Also, context on this video. I was probably hammered.
Oh yeah.
I won this event at noon, and I drank until 4 a.m. And I will get into that a little bit later when we go through this event, because I think it's a remarkable story. And like, it has nothing to do really with the event itself, but it is a remarkable story.
Right.
But what was I saying? Yeah, they released Jiffany Jamber and they go, hey guys, we want to like do a little test thing. We want to see if we can have like an 8 hand size character in the meta. So blah blah blah. We're making her blank. Yada 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 yada. I believe she was banned shortly after I won with her. And by banned, I mean they were like, oh, this experiment wasn't working out, so we're just removing it from the meta. She's not on a ban list. She was never on a ban list. They were just said the experiment isn't working. She doesn't exist anymore. So like I basically have the Barry Bonds of Champion cards along with Garrett Brett, who I believe also went with Jiffany Jamber. He was playing Air though. We both have like big Barry Bonds asterisks next to our championships because we were playing characters that don't exist.
Well, that might be better than having one that was like an insane busted character card, though.
You know, right? I always find it kind of funny that generally the most busted character never wins.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Like I think obviously, like fucking Mark Tyner is a cheeser dog and plays the best decks, and yes, he won with the best deck twice, probably. But before the last 2 events, generally the big dog doesn't win, and it's kind of funny. Like even at Nationals, I lost to the 16th place player who that was the only bad matchup for that deck, by the way.
Well, that happened at Worlds last year. I beat Kevin Broberg because he forgot to write in a yin and yang, and my deck was over prepared for the Zhangwa matchup.
Yeah, there you go.
Sometimes the guy that squeaks in at 16th place, like that's every time I've ever blended a bit, and I'm like
Swiss champ curse, man.
Yeah, Swiss champ is hard because that like wild card, right? The guy who had to race it, squeak in at literally 22nd place or whatever it is because of all the diversity. It's usually a like a stick thrown in the chains.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, character doesn't exist, which is my favorite. Like, it never got banned. I don't know. It's weird. I can't even like check that like check mark got a character banned. It's like I didn't. I never got a character banned.
It wasn't even in there.
Exactly.
That's real fun. Speaking of Jiffany, like what drew you to her? I think at the time they also put in like a 6 hand size blank, right? And
so there was a 6 hand size blank a billion years ago.
Oh, okay.
Universal Fighter came out literally billion years ago. I think they reprinted him. And like they just made him like they literally like reprinted him and just kind of like made him a black dude, and it was kind of weird because like they didn't give him features still, but they made him strangely racially based. It was a weird one. We had a lot of fun about that in the local community, especially like our friend Marcus was just ripping on it the whole time. He was like, "This is the most racist thing I've ever seen," and I was like, "Oh, Marcus, hey, dude. I mean, I believe you." But yeah, no, they've had a couple experiments where they go, let's make an infinity character for new players, but that it doesn't do anything for new players. It's not a new player friendly thing.
I would agree with that, right? Because you have to have such a like the game already has such a large burden of knowledge for people to play. And a blank character is going to do that, right? There's no support for this character. You have to create all of it from your head.
Exactly.
It makes no sense. I think I'll agree with you there, right? Like
they kept doing it under the guise of we'll give this to people who enter tournaments. It'll be like a new character thing. Like, but dude, a new player isn't gonna know that my 3 infinity symbol 630 character isn't good still. Like it doesn't do anything for them. Even like the 8 hand size 1 infinity symbol character doesn't do anything for them because they don't have the knowledge to be like, okay, well, this is what kind of nuts thing I can do with this. Dude, I didn't even do that. I didn't start on Jiffany Jamber. That wasn't the first character for the deck. The first character for the deck was Leona from King of Fighters. Because I was like, oh, dude, she's got such cool effects. 8 hand size. But then you had to discard a card at the end of the turn.
Let me find this character because I'm not
yeah, dude, for sure. She's from King of Fighters first set, KO of 13.
8 hand size 17.
8 hand size 17.
So what made you go with Jiffany over her? Is it just the 3 extra life?
Okay, so originally I saw Tengu Dive and was like, oh, wow, what a cool card. And then I was like, but what if I had all the cards? And I got like real greedy with it. And I was like, dude, Leona Blade combos off of range also or something like that. Or it is a ranged attack or something. And I was like, this is going to be so cool. Let's play Leona. This was also, I think, probably less than a year after Alex Marco beat my ass with Trinity Geyser Leona. So he just had a million cards, and I was like, I want a million cards and to be able to beat people's asses like Alex Marco.
Right.
So I was like, Leona, draw a million cards, blah, blah, blah. So we're testing in Mark Wisniewski's living room on his ottoman, because that's where we used to play cards, just on his little ottoman on his couch.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Jeremy Ray's there as well, playing with like him, Jeremy, Mark, myself, probably that's it. And I'm just like, not necessarily winning games, but I'm like, I've got so many cards, guys. This is so fun. And I had recently came back into the game. I actually took a little bit of I've taken a couple hiatuses. This one wasn't as long, but I sold all my cards to Legendary Wolf Games, and then like started playing again like less than a year later.
Right.
So I'm like stealing all of Mark's cards because I didn't have any of my own, and I built this fucking crazy deck where I just draw a million cards and do nothing with them, by the way, because I just die. I'm a 17 life character with like nothing that prevents me from dying, and I keep just dying to. I think he's playing Dimitri or something. I'm like, I can't do anything. This deck is something else. And Jeremy, I believe, like halfway through one of my games, goes, "Why don't you play Shiranui no Mai instead of Leona Blade?" So I'm like 3 turns into a game. I pick up all my cards. I put Shiranui no Mai's in. And then we play like a couple more games. And then like halfway through a game again, he's like, what about Jiffany Jamber? And I pick up all my cards. And it becomes a Jiffany Jamber deck. I played this deck, I shit you not, like 4 half games before it became Jiffany Jamber. I never finished a game, but I was always losing, I'm pretty sure, until that point. Right. The deck building on that one is the least graceful deck building of all time, but it was pretty fun.
Well, but that's the sort of magic that makes those sorts of things happen, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
it doesn't hurt having like Jeremy Ray just be able to tell you what you're doing wrong most of the time. It's worked so well for me.
Is that the first time that's happened, or has it happened other times?
So it happened a lot prior to that. I think it was happened less past that point. Okay. I like to think that at this point, like I can kind of mold my own little decks together. Like maybe I get some suggestions from him. Like I do a lot of theory crafting with like my group of people, where I'm like, okay, blah blah blah. What? This isn't working. This card sucks, or I need this card, or I need something like this, and then we get like I get kind of like the brain trust in it together. I'd like to say that a lot of my decks have never really. Actually, I don't think any of my decks are just like a sole product of me. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that I not necessarily am incapable of doing that, but I love getting the opinions of everybody. I like talking to everybody about their opinions about stuff. I've talked to you about stuff too. Like,
right. Well, who's your usual brain trust then? Is it your teammates? I
actually talked to Ben and Dave about card choices very little. Okay. Like it's pretty funny because we'll team all the time, and I will have no idea what anybody's playing until the day of. Like Dave will be like, "Yeah, I'm probably playing this," and Ben will be like, "I don't know." Ben will learn what deck he's playing 2 days before the event on his kitchen table with me telling him, "This is the best deck. You should be playing this."
It sounds like Ben.
It works really well if it's an aggro deck. It works really bad if it's a combo deck. Like if we give him an aggro deck, he'll kill anything super quickly. But if we give him anything else, sometimes it's a little bit sketchier. I'd say the usual brain trust would be I get a lot of advice from like I'll if I'm really seriously like going to a thing before like to a big event or like to a PTC and I'm like really working hard on something, I'll probably get the advice of like Jeremy via like text a lot. We don't play too often because they're about an hour's drive away. Mm-hmm. I'm like the furthest one out. Actually, Mark and I are pretty close now, so I guess Jeremy's the furthest one out. But my roommate Skylar is actually like really big brain. He like won't play the most meta stuff, but for like he has really good thoughts on the game. And he doesn't really travel to events or anything because he's like busy. And I mean, traveling is generally a luxury,
right?
But no, he's like very helpful in the grand scheme of things of like what I should be playing when I can't figure out like an idea. And then Mark, I'll pitch some stuff back and forth with Mark. Most of my pitching back and forth with Mark is playing him in games though. It's not like a conversation. It's just like I'll be playing with something, and then like I'll recognize that I am missing something or I'm like losing to something specifically, and I'll change it up like that. So I'd say it's probably those three, and then like outside opinions sometimes.
Right.
Like I'll reach out to the community a couple times, like, or if I'm talking to like JJ or something about something specific. Yeah, but mostly Skylar, my roommate, he's really good. He just doesn't travel. Like, and when he does travel, he kind of plays troll shit. So, but like that's the stuff he likes to play. So.
Yeah, if you're trying to have fun, right?
Right. If it doesn't always show up in his record, but I think he's actually like he's really good at deck building. Like most of that Scorpion deck is his idea. He told me to play it. I was struggling with a million different evil decks, and he was like, "Why don't you just play this? It's nuts." So I changed probably I'd say 2/3 of the deck was what he was playing, and then 1/3 was I thought the choices were better in my decisions. And that was actually the exact same way my first championship came about with Vespera. It started as his deck while we were just fucking around in my basement at the time at my parents' house, and then like it just kind of evolved to like, oh, this is probably like just the best deck, and then I played it and. Yeah.
Worked out.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I think that the people around me give like some of the best advice. And I think it's pretty nuts. They have they all play their own little unique ways, and it's really good.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that every player has to have a play group to have that sort of mental.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good to be surrounded by the smart people. I don't want to be the smartest guy. I want to be the luckiest guy. You know?
Dudes, sometimes it's all you need. I am not the luckiest guy. I'll tell you that. I am the check ones guy. So we try and account for that a little bit better, but we can't anymore.
Well, I think that's an interesting thing. Like every time I've seen you play at events, which, you know, I haven't been to that many, but
yeah, you've been to a fair amount though, Reeve. We have a fairly large sample size together. I'd say at this point.
But I think you're always playing some bad checks, right? Like in the Scorpion decks, you were running Coffee Samba.
Yep.
In the Janet list you played at Omaha, you're playing Princess Perry's.
Yep.
This Jiffany list had 8 bad checks, right?
Oh, it should have been more than that. It should have been 11.
Was it? Oh yeah.
I think it was 4, 4, and 3.
Oh yeah, yeah, right. Because Shiranu's a 2-check. Tango Dived, Tornado Hold. Is Zing also
it was either,
a 2-check?
Tornado Hold's a 1, Tengu Dive's a 1, Shiranui's a 2. Was it only 10? Was it more? Was it less than 10, really?
I think it's 11, right? 4, 4.
Oh, that was 11. I thought it was 4, 4, 3.
Yeah, that's 11. But you had Proud Nose to sort of shore that up, right?
Yeah, so that's kind of where that deck right there, though, is kind of where I got my reputation for doing it. Like, I have always played bad checks. Tekken King had 2 checks in it. Vespera had 2 checks in it. I kind of don't mind it. I think it's really easy to play around. Some people have it like in this mindset where like, oh no, you're going to lose the game. Well, you're probably going to win the game if you play it. It's really good. Like, I don't know. It's like one of the situations where like Keenan, I'm sure Keenan told you the same thing. It's just like, you look at the card and you're like, well, this card's nuts. Like Coffee Samba. It's like, this card wins you games for free. Like, who cares if it has a 1? You check it. Sometimes you maybe lose, but you're going to win way more games than you're going to check it.
But you have to play around it, and you have to build around it, too. I mean, I think there's quite a bit more brain spasming happening when you have to play around one and build around one check.
It's a little different. In my opinion, like, the only difference is, like, maybe you can be a little less greedy with your foundation builds, like, in the ones you include. And that's about it. Like, I've always wanted to play a lot of spam foundations anyway, so, like, I kind of want to, like, it doesn't hurt me to go like one, like to say play 1 difficulty, then a 0 difficulty, then like a 1 difficulty, then a 2 difficulty. Chances are I'm going to pass those. Like, probability's sake, I'm going to pass those cards.
Right.
Like, I think, I mean, I'm not Tim Keefe or Kevin Broberg where they crunch the numbers on everything, but like, I should be checking 5s most of the time. That's how decks are built. You should be checking 5s. So you just safety yourself a little bit there. And if you only build 2, you only build 2. Who cares? Okay.
So you're saying that you like more spam, right? But I think that the tech pieces are typically what ends up being like the tough calls, right? Like, oh, I need a 1 of last of his kind. In this deck, it was the Mathematicians and like Curse Fate. Like, most of it was spam, right? And so Spiders and Dragons in a real...
None of those cards were actually like tough choices to put in.
Okay.
So the deck that I played in the PTC, I think didn't run either of those cards and was just like a really bad version of the deck, a much greedier version of the deck.
Okay.
I wish I could pull that up, but that one's lost to the ether. I didn't make top 8, I don't think, and I just was awful. And actually, I'm pretty sure finished like last. But it got to a point where like I made a lot of decisions on the deck based on how I perceived the meta was going to go. And like a lot of decisions where if I go first, I think I'm going to win anyway. So like the Cursed Fate, I think I just was at 59 cards. Like when I was building it, I think I was just at like, I was at a lower number of cards than I thought I needed to be at. And I just put one card in and I was like a 0 def. It's fine. It's a 0 def and I have too many cards in my hand. This will be fine.
Right.
But Mathematician was nuts in that meta, actually. It stopped a lot more than it does not or did previously. Because like it would stop things like safe because the rulings on this game are bad and inconsistent, but it would stop things like safe. Because like once it was upside down, it didn't have safe anymore. And like obviously I understand like why it doesn't do that or why it didn't do that leading up to its rotation. But like rulings change so often in this game where like a judge's call at in a moment changes so frequently. Like, but that card stopped a lot of things. Like it would shut down combo attacks, which there were a lot of. It stopped Kim, which was the big thing.
Okay.
Because like you flip over one of his kicks and then he has to go at least one more kick deeper.
Okay.
I believe it stopped Kim, and that was my biggest justification for it. But it also stopped like Tengu dive attacks, which were obviously becoming prevalent, and it stopped something else. I don't remember. But I remember looking at it and going, wow, this card's actually pretty good. But I could only put like 2 of them in it because it wasn't winning me the game. There's my dog. He's fucking not throwing up on my bed.
Hopefully not eating garbage out of the bag either.
Dude, he's an asshole. I remember just like looking at the deck and going, I don't remember. Was it 59 in a character? Or was it 60 in a character?
I think it was 6. This says 63.
63. Okay. So it was a little bit, I believe that I put in all of like the cards, like Petrol Power, Hidden Laughter, stuff where I was like, this makes me go deeper, faster.
Right.
And then I think I was just like, okay, but maybe we should slow down a little bit and put like a couple of pieces of maybe we don't die in here. I think that was probably my justification, or I was playing against something I felt like I needed it. Like I said, this is a while ago, so it's a little bit harder for me to figure out where is where. But I remember I remember loving those cards. Like I remember maybe the Cursed Fate didn't show up as often as it needed to, but like Mathematician was super good. And I think there was even one in the side deck, I believe. I think it was 4 portal. Was it 4 portal barriers, 1 Mathematician, and 3 Templars?
This is 3 Templars, 3 portal barriers, 2 more Mathematician.
Okay, 2 more Mathematicians. Okay. It was something like that.
Yeah, well, so my question is more of an abstract thing. Like when you build, since you have this reputation for running all these bad checks and not being afraid of it, right? Like I think that's more of it. It's like Mark Tyner, I know, is notorious for not wanting to run bad checks. He's like, I want to check 3s the entire, but you have to be doing something different to be successful while running these bad checks. And so, I mean, you've already answered it, but the interesting choices I think are those so few slots that you have to run bad checks. As far as I know, you tend to go more towards a laser pinpointed answer for something that you know that's going to be showing up that you're afraid of specifically, that maybe does well into your deck, than a more general like this card.
I think that typically
unless it's nuts, right?
Yeah, I mean, unless the card's like broken, I don't. I haven't built many decks where I include super hard counters to cards.
Okay.
Unless that card's just going to lose me the game.
Right.
Generally, I don't think that even in like the Scorpion deck or anything, I had something super specific like that. I think it was just more of like, these are good cards. And I think that's mostly how I've built a lot of decks, where I don't play for my percentage chance of running into the bad matchup, because that happens. Like if I'm going to run into the bad matchup, I'm not going to tech my deck out to beat the bad matchup when I have to beat the rest of the field still.
Right.
So I'd rather be super streamlined, like focused with a couple maybe answers to some good cards than like here's 50 cards and 10 cards of like tech. I don't really know if I guess I think I'm describing that well.
I think so. No, I think so. I think you got it.
I have like a really good reputation of playing things very aggressively.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't typically know that I have like a win when I'm going into a turn. But I will go for it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if your opponent doesn't have the answer, then you just win sometimes. And like Piglet always tells me I'm the best aggro player he's ever seen. And I don't even like playing aggro most of the time. Like, I don't like aggro decks generally. Like, I'd rather play a control deck, but that's not really a big UFS thing at the moment, I guess.
Now, when you
Like,
draw up to your hand size every single turn,
yeah.
right? You're not running out of the resources.
You can't really outgrind your opponent. So, like, even like my control E decks tend to still have to have some aggro aspects to it or some type of like snap your fingers and you can win.
Right.
Which I think is totally reasonable and fine. Like, not to even, I guess to even jump further back than my 2016 was my 2012 win, where I played, like a lot of people weren't attacking with Despair on their own turn, which let their opponent do stuff. Despair was like strictly just a reversal character.
Right.
Her attacks all did 5 damage. So like, if you just ram them at them and kill them, that doesn't matter. So like even that deck I could play aggressively. It's just like I guess it's a mindset that some people don't actually have to have like a killer instinct at all. Like a lot of people want to wait for their guaranteed kills, like a Garrett Brett type, where I will just throw cards at you until you die. I do not care. Like
I definitely skew towards the latter, right? Like I want to confirm a kill most of the time.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that, obviously. Like that's a perfectly reasonable, safe play style. But
learning the opposite is probably great. I mean,
I like to play with no seatbelt on and run all the stop signs. Because, like, I don't know. I don't want to be playing the game for, like, 3 hours in top cuts. I don't know.
I have some time to drink till 4 a.m., right?
It's not even that. It's just, like, I get, like, very bored. Not, like, necessarily with the game. Like, I love the game. But, like, I don't want to sit there and be like, all right, Garrett, you have 75 foundations. What do I do now? I've scooped top cut games to Garrett. Like not like the whole match, but like we played in Louisiana PTC's final. I scooped game 1.
Just because you didn't see that.
He had a mill deck. He had all of his pieces. He was going to slowly mill me out, and I was not going to wait for that to happen. So we went to game 2.
Right.
I don't know. It's just like you have to know when to make the call. It's even in rounds. If you're playing against a slow deck and you don't see your pieces and they do, just scoop. Scoop game 1, go to game 2. Like you're not going to have enough time to finish your other 2 games if you let this play out. I think it's part of my mentality, I suppose, with the game where I don't want to let my opponent play their game, I guess, typically.
Applying pressure. Yeah.
Even if it's mental pressure.
well, when we played, right, we played in the final round last year at the Nets, and like I felt like every turn you were just like, to be fair, that's my experience with Tim Keefe in general, but it was definitely that situation where like, oh, I won the die roll, I'm gonna build 5, and then here's Nutcracker, Dark Charioteau.
Yeah.
Next turn's a missile launcher, et cetera, et cetera. And
hey
like,
man, you had your out. I had the Withering Toxin.
Did not help me because I drew no death cards. I was just like, I'm going to do this, not because it's the correct play, but because I told him I was going to do it. and I died immediately afterwards, too.
You did have it, though. You did let me know.
We're here for a good time, not a long time, you know? But I can attest to that. Yeah, I definitely felt like I was like, this madman will not stop.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't see the reason for me to hold on to my entire hand and play 1 card most of the time. Like there are situations where that's the correct game play. Like that's the correct call. You have to sometimes do that, but there are not a lot of times where I'm like, man, what if I just played 1 and held on to 6? That sounds so boring to me.
I'll have to remember that because I'm definitely guilty of the trying to mind game my opponent by holding too many cards.
Listen, most of the time those cards aren't going to help you anyway in your hand, you know? Like
Probably correct.
like I could hold these 3 foundations with bad blocks and like 2 attacks, I guess, with good blocks. So I could just attack you with all my attacks and hold these bad blocks and hope it works out for me, man.
Fair enough.
Sometimes you just can't win, all right? It's fine.
All right, so let's talk about the event itself, right?
Yeah,
like
I'm down.
For people, like I've heard the story a billion times, but like for people who may not have been around, like that there were like 3 big boys in the format, and it was Ryu, right?
So yeah. No, this meta, like in hindsight, I think is actually a lot healthier than a lot of people gave it credit to.
Okay.
But like there was promo Ryu, which was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Kim, who got to just basically infinite combo you.
Okay.
There was Napalm Man, who was basically the equivalent of just play your. He was like a 5 hand size, but you played like you played 24 attacks, which I know doesn't seem like a lot now, but that was a ton back then.
Right.
And they were all cheap, and like on every one of them, you burned your opponent for 2, and like they couldn't do anything about it. So you just play like 2 turns of 5 attacks, and that's like 20 damage worth of burn. And if any of them hit them, they died.
Right.
Then there was Dimitri, who lived forever. And then a lot of people were playing like Turbo Man, or people thought the meta was going to be Turbo Man. Turbo Man never actually became a meta at all. But people really were really worried about it.
Yeah, they're complaining about the wheel and steel, is what I remember.
That was like not even a deck yet, honestly, which is kind of funny. It became a deck the next, like this set Blood Omen wasn't out this tournament.
Oh, okay.
So there was just Scorch Wheel.
Yeah,
but
no,
people
no
were
steel.
like, oh man, he's going to build like free cards and then draw 3 and it's going to win him the game. It never did anything. It didn't do shit. It got to like, it won a team event. Like that was it.
Right.
But like that was the meta, but like, dude, I would kill for a 4 character meta most of the time at this point. Like if your meta is like 5 or 6 characters, dude, that's a healthy meta.
Yeah.
You guys remember Liu Kang, where the meta was just Liu Kang and Quan Chi? And Quan Chi was banned before the event, so it was just Liu Kang. Yeah. Me too, dude. Me too. I'd also remember that. That was fucking stupid.
Well, and then Jiffany comes in kind of from left field because of the blank slate she provides, right? So I know Garrett won with an air deck the year before, and you were taking it to a PTC, but not even made top cut. But changes. We've already talked about that.
Yeah. Most people considered Garrett's air deck a sandbox, or like not a sandbag into Felicia though. Most people thought he's playing Jiffany Jamber so his teammate could play Felicia, which is correct. Like Mark LeBlanc always plays Felicia. Okay. So that's what they were doing. But like he did the same strategy with Slashman a lot, where people would see Slashman in events and they'd be like, oh, it's just Garrett sandbag into Felicia, which is correct. No matter what he tries to defend it, it is correct. That's exactly what he was doing. So like his was more of like a sandbag, where it was just like a big kicks Navos deck. Like you'd play Navos, Robert kick, and then you would you had an 8 hand size, and then you were Felicia sometimes. But like, so Jiffany wasn't even still considered meta at that point. Okay. Like that wasn't a deck that people had on their radar. Nobody else at the event played Jiffany. It was just me.
That makes it more fun.
Yeah. But like people were playing Felicia, and that's what I played in teams the day before. And Dave Ben and I, in our first team up ever, I'm pretty sure finished last place. We have jet-lagged Dave Wagner, who just got back from like Netherlands the day before. Ben Shoemaker, who hasn't played, and me playing the worst Felicia deck ever built. It was so bad. And
what was your record that day?
I think my personal record, maybe I had 1 win, and it was probably bottom tables. It was probably the worst. It was probably like the last table, and I maybe won that game. Like I wasn't even going to play Jiffany at the event. I was going to play Felicia.
But that pulled you off of it.
Holy shit. Yeah. Dude. I've had a couple of experiences in my gaming career of UFS where I want to play a deck, and then like I either have somebody else, I have like other people just go like, dude, why don't you just play this other deck? It's gonna be more fun. You hate this deck, just play it. and that was one of them. I'm pretty sure either Keenan Meadows or Piglet told me to play the Jiffany Jamber deck again. Somebody told me to play it, and I was like, all right, dude, I guess I'll just play this fucking meme deck, whatever. I'm already losing anyway. And, well, here we are, I suppose.
Blaze it in there. The deck itself had some really fun stuff. Like, there were some cards I never heard of, like Shiranui Ryu and Zing. That seems to be like that card is crazy.
Zing or Shiranui?
Shiranui. Zing is a filler card.
Shiranui. What? A filler card?
It's a filler card.
Best card in the deck.
No way, dude. No way.
Are you nuts? Dude,
all right, let me read this again. 3 high, 4, 5 dip throw. Before playing this, if there are at least 5 cards in your card pool, this card ignores progressive. Enhance name foundation card.
Yep, name foundation.
Yeah, the opponent reveals top card, it gets 3 damage.
That's always a 5 difficulty, 7 damage attack. My entire first character card is based off of Zing.
All right. Well, compare that to looking at Shiranui, which has all of the text and discards everything and draws you all.
Yeah, that card's the best version of Covert Intent ever printed.
Oh yeah, it checks it too. It has a block.
Actually, it can be negated. It's a little bit worse, but
Covert Intent can also be negated, by the way.
Oh, can it? I thought that card couldn't be negated.
No, it sure can. It's real. Like, you played
that's awkward.
Venomous, and it's
never mind. I take everything I just said back. But no, that deck was hilarious. I loved it. I honestly wish that I wish that I just kept it all in a little box and I could just shuffle it sometimes. Because, dude, I in the Michigan PTC that I did terrible in, I cycled through my entire deck twice in one turn against Thomas Gordon.
Because of all the Shiranui?
Because all the Tengu dives, Shiranuis, like, I cycled through my entire deck twice.
That's fucking.
And I was like, what the fuck? I don't know if this is good, but it's great and fun. And that's like, I don't know. If I ever go into an event not having fun, I always just am like, what if I just tried to have some fun? And sometimes it's worked out remarkably well, actually, when I just play the fun decks, because they're usually broken. And that's why I'm having fun. I don't know.
The world may never know. So walk me through the age-old story of you dodging all of these 4 characters you described.
Honestly, I didn't like just bracket bust or like beat the shit out of everybody in this tournament. I think I like at the end of Swiss was like 8th place, or I was like maybe not 8th. Maybe 8th is too low. I think I was like 6th or something place. Like it's not like I was lighting the world on fire. All those decks were ahead of me in the standings.
Right.
That's fine. They were all beating each other up to win the tournament or to try and win the tournament. I was like not doing that. I know in the middle of the rounds, I played Dave Wagner right before lunch because I always play either Dave or Ben before lunch, and I lost to him. And that's like the only actual Swiss that I remember besides beating Grant Padley in the last round playing Tengu Man to see who got into top 16, I think. Like, I think we actually legitimately had like a who gets into top 16 fight. Huh. So I believe on the bubble, like going into tops. So it wasn't like I definitely dodged all those matchups. Like, and if I played them, I probably lost to at least one of them if I did play them. I don't recall. I have no idea. I don't remember any of my Swiss rounds besides those 2. So like I probably did lose to one of them if I did play them. And then in top 16, I literally got the best side of the bracket. There was none of that. They were either fighting each other or somebody else always eliminated it for me. Like, I believe like Mark LeBlanc, who I played in finals, beats the Ryu and the Napalm Man, I believe. And then Keenan Meadows playing Dimitri beats Kim. And those were the ones I was scared of. Like, I did play against Dimitri. I did play Keenan in top 4.
Right.
And it was the longest game. And honestly, it was like a masterclass in probably how to actually play UFS against a deck that's broken. I don't know how I won. I won by playing way more cards than him before I milled.
There you go.
That deck was it was nuts. I don't know. I wish I don't know. I'm gonna ask somebody how good that game was that watched it, because I know how it felt, and it did not feel like I was ever going to win until I did. So I believe game 1 he didn't let me do anything. Game 2 I beat him in like 2 turns, and game 3 lasted an eternity. Is how I remember it.
Well, those are the good games, right? Those are the ones where you're like, oh, this is awful. This is.
Oh man, I wish that game 3 didn't last an eternity. When I'm playing a deck that's like a meme, like this is literally like the epitome of meme aggro.
Okay.
This is combo aggro at its finest, and I'm playing against a deck that like literally on every attack gains 2 health. Like I'm pretty sure that's old Dimitri's effect. Like
Right.
I'm pretty sure he gains 2 health on every attack. So if he attacks, he's getting 2 health. If I attack, he's getting 2 health. And I don't recall like having some kind of cool outplay to make Keenan commit his character. I don't think that happened. I think I had to just do 500 damage.
Go deep in that.
Yeah, that was like, and then I played Felicia, which was also like a meta deck in the finals. And like outside of that, like my top 16 was against Sasquatch. My top 8 was I played Dave again and beat him. And like the run back, we flipped roles because he beat my ass in Swiss, and I beat his ass in Top Cuts. Then I played the longest game of all time against Keenan Meadows, and I beat Mark LeBlanc in 10 minutes. I don't know. It was quick. And it was quick and game 3. So like he beat my ass and then I beat his ass twice or something like that. It was some combination of that. It was fun. It was a really fun tournament, honestly. Like I actually had a very enjoyable experience. One of the more enjoyable experiences, I guess. That was the first Atlanta Nats also. So it was like the bar's like right around the corner. So
well, okay. So you said you were happy it ended at noon because you had a story.
Oh man, it was crazy. I think they did singles before teams. Actually,
Okay.
no, they didn't. They didn't. It was just really quick. Both events were just really quick. I think we played we must have started super early in the morning for the event because I know Keenan played Jeremy for a very long time also in like top 8. So either we played top 8 out before that or we played like until maybe it was like 1 or 2 that I'm thinking actually. But literally immediately after I win, Ben, Dave, and I just go on like just a bender. It was crazy. Like I'm talking, we go to the hotel bar. We're drinking with Grant Padley and Mike Hardiman. And then I don't even know how long we're there before we end up at like an Irish pub on the complete opposite side of the world. And we're drinking there for another hours and hours. And then we ended at some bar that doesn't close till 4 a.m. And I don't really know how that's legal, but it was cool. Yeah, that was awesome. I actually had to delay the day we went back to Michigan by like a whole day because I was like, I can't drive. I'm too hungover.
It's not happening.
It's just not happening. I think Ben was dead in his room the entire next day also. It was crazy. It was a lot of drinking. It was nuts.
So now we've gone into Jiffany and basically talked her into the ground at this point. What are you looking at right now?
Right meow?
Right
Nah. Well, I haven't looked at UFS cards really in about since whenever Worlds was because of this whole shutdown thing.
Of course, right. The quarantine notwithstanding, right? Especially standard legality being as strange as it is right now.
It's a bit of an issue that I don't even know what cards are out anymore. I think
Mortal
Kombat comes out this month.
Nobody has any idea. They're just previewing all these sets or these DLCs.
Can I not buy the Mortal Kombat stuff yet?
I don't think so. I don't even think you can get the Soul Calibur stuff. Can you?
Oh. Well, that's wild. Lots of online card gamers. But yeah, no, everybody's like, dude, Noob is so broken and stuff. And I'm like, I want to do that. I want to play Noob in Fusion of Souls or whatever that card is, like everybody else in the entire world's playing. What if I could be the best one?
What if I could be the best one in the room?
Yeah, what if I could be the best one in the room?
On the internet.
Can I be the best one for Nationals Online 2020? But no, I genuinely I have been looking at like in my head at least, because I haven't actually like looked at anything on paper. I'm like, okay, I really liked playing DeJanet. I really liked playing like Tim Keefe, and like I think there are a lot of like neat things that he can do now. Like I really like the Night Wolf Foundation, and I think that card's really cool. I kind of wanted to like slip and slide a little bit of like foundation trades in for that guy. Obviously, all of his attacks are always going to be the same broken attacks, so I don't even know what to change about those, even though I keep trying every single time. But like, I like the concept of playing the flip Nightwolf card, and like, I think it's like if you don't block.
Yeah, if you don't block.
It's like if you don't block. So like playing that with Toughest Punk in junior high or whatever, and playing Beast Hunter to unflip them, and just fucking doing some weird shit like that. And then I'm like, oh, but noob decks are really good, so maybe I should just play that guy till he gets banned or whatever. Like in my head at like 6 a.m, I'm like theory crafting noob Voldo because he's a 7-hand size void character. I'm like, this might work. I don't know. Fuck it. Maybe we'll dodge diversity with Voldo and get to fucking play his broken attack all the time.
Right. It's like when Hellfire was people were like, oh, you can just run 28 bad checks in Hellfire, and they're like, what's there's a top 8 that's just 8 different evil and fire characters all playing Hellfire with like basically the same 60 cards.
I have like fucking New Inferno playing Hellfire. I'm convinced it's just better as Goro, but
yeah, just play Goro.
I stopped testing at some point, like
right
around the time where they were like, hey dudes, stay in your house. I was just like, maybe we won't play cards in our living room anymore for some reason with my roommate who I already live with.
You should download Tabletop Simulator.
I have Tabletop Simulator, dude. You think I want to? Dude, I am such a frantic deck builder that it tilts me that I just can't like edit decks. I have to like rebuild them all.
You don't have to rebuild them. What?
Dude, every time I tried to like edit a deck, it just was an unmitigated disaster.
All right. At some point, I will walk you through it. And Broberg has like anytime I want to get a deck from UFS Ultra onto TTS, I just send him the list because he has like he's a fucking computer wizard. So he just
does he have like a program that just like
he just swoops it in.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah. Although UFS Ultra is in
although UFS Ultra doesn't have DLC, so I can't even build decks I want anymore.
Yeah. I have to put
that's my
in.
big problem. UFS Ultra spoiled me so much that I can't even build decks anymore without it. I have to be able to look at the cards and be like, this number, and then when it gets to paper or like on the table, I can be like, oh, these cards don't work. Change for these cards.
Well,
before that point, I cannot.
What you got to do is you just got to, like, in the notes, right? +4 this card, +2 this card, right? Do everything else that's technically standard legal because none of these cards have come out, and then put in the notes plus this, plus that.
I have to be able to see them. I don't know what they are.
You got to read them. Oh, no.
I don't want to read.
Oh, okay. No. All right.
But yeah, no. Mostly I've decided that I probably want to build DJ, but so does everybody. So it's like, it's if I want to end up like doing the commitment of fighting a bunch of DJs, if that does happen. So
she's one of those characters that like a bunch of weebs want to play because it's a fucking waifu.
Yeah.
So I think it's incredibly easy to be the best Janet in the room. Since
dude, I can't beat you. You got a meme one, dude. Yours is the fucking
I don't want to play
100 damage attack.
I don't want to play that deck. You can have it. I'm gonna play it in this Legendary Wolves Games tournament, and then I'm never gonna touch it again because I just
want to play her with like void cards. Like the Amy attack seems so good in her.
It is.
Like, discard one momentum, make your opponent discard their whole hand. What? That sounds so nuts.
So before Worlds, I was trying to get Broberg to play that list because I was locked in to play Quan Chi.
Yeah.
And he was like, I like this deck. It's pretty good. And he played it on Tim Keefe's stream, and then he was like, this is trash. I don't know. I think it got like whopped by Kotalkan, which I don't know how that happened playing Janet.
I lost to Kotalkan in the Omaha PTC playing Janet. I know how it happens.
Anytime he responds, you respond. It's so easy.
That's not how it works. If he draws all of his attacks on turn 2, you just lose. You only have 21 life.
Fair enough.
If he has double slide shots, you still lose. I understand the theory.
All right.
But in practice, sometimes they have double slide shots, and you're Brad Townsley, and you beat the shit out of me.
All right, I'll forgive you, and I'll forgive Kevin for getting wiped
Dude,
by
double
Kotal
slide
Khan.
shots is unbeatable if you're Kotal Khan.
Yeah,
I'm just saying
it's a lot of damage, dude.
that card is 1,000 and is basically unblockable because it's a low attack.
Yeah, that's funny. The um
But yeah. Sorry, to get back to point. Basically, I want to try a deck with noob in it, and if I don't like that style of deck, I'll probably go back to either playing like an aggro deck or playing Tim Keefe.
Right.
I'll try Tim Keefe. I didn't play Tim Keefe at Worlds because I also didn't like how it was progressing past not necessarily that he wasn't good, just like the change didn't feel like the new set didn't feel like it added anything to him.
Right.
It kind of felt like it detracted a little bit, just like other stuff got better.
He also didn't perform particularly well into Cassandra.
Right. Yeah, and I did a lot of testing against Cassandra.
Yeah.
Cassandra and Scorpion. And boy, do you sometimes just lose to Scorpion.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people learned that weekend. That sometimes you just lose to Scorpion.
Evil decks in general are really frustrating to me right now because it feels like the brain just turns off sometimes, and I'm like, nice, it's a Vicious Madness that's coming in for 14, and I can't poke this guy because it's Scorpion.
Oh yeah, no, you can't poke Scorpion.
I have to do 28 in a turn, and then if I let him live to turn 3, he's going to build out enough foundations to where he can just cut himself to it anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot of lose 3 vitality cards in the meta. Turns out.
Oh yeah. He's very, very good. He's very, very good. It's just like if I'm not playing something bonkers, right, where I can just swipe him, it feels rough.
That would probably also be an option. Like if the meta stayed the same, I might just continue on with like a Scorpion build that I found like very good. Because I can't imagine that like a new actual set gets released during this. Because like there's no way. Like you can't sell it at a game store because game stores aren't really open. So like there's not going to be an actual new set for a while, which I also think is why the DLCs I can't actually buy them. But I have looked on the internet. I did try and buy the MK ones because I need 2 more. I only have 2. Spoilers, I got a couple of those, I guess.
Well, good for you. Do they really only come with 1 noob? Is that a thing?
Oh yeah.
God,
you have to get 4 of them if you want to play this meta, bitch.
Holy smokes. Yeah, that's I was
RIP your wallet, idiots. And then you got to get 4 of the Bebop ones to get the stupid little kid, right?
Yeah, to get when. I mean, I guess what you do in that case is you get 3 other friends to buy it for Julia and Andy, and you're like, "Hey, bro, give me your
guys,
when. You're not gonna play it.
When?
Yeah, give me the little kid, dude.
Can I borrow your little kid until you need him, please?"
Exactly. Jose's been playing when online, like we've been testing it, and it is much better than I thought it would look on paper. Like,
okay, I know he gets to untap all of his cards, right? Like that's his move.
Yeah.
Just like
if he ever gets like enough characters to where he does commit you out, the catch just kills you. Like it's never not killing you.
Oh yeah, I would imagine that you turning all of your opponent's cards sideways and then using cats is a very good way of winning.
he just kills you. It's been great. Yeah, Jose's been kicking my shit in with that when I'm not playing something like Borked or something like that.
Yeah. But I think that I guess to maybe get a little bit back onto the topic though, like anytime I'm going to be playing, I think at this point I'm gonna reach for like a meta deck, maybe with like twists to it, or maybe something that beats meta decks at least. I don't know. I've played a lot of meme decks, and I don't really want to do that anymore, I guess. I kind of want to be winning if I'm going to be playing at this point. I need to make sure that people respect my name, I guess, still. Like, now I don't want to be one of these washed up old guys that doesn't top anymore, you know?
Well, if you do, I do think that Janet is a great option against noob because she plays the noob really well, and she also just fucks on anybody playing. If they put all their eggs in that basket, she just makes them play it again.
Yeah, because they don't get to like just fucking drop the noob for free or the attack for free.
Yeah,
because the noob is a response, right? So like they flip it and then you just bounce their attack,
and then you bounce it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like okay, double your attack. All right, fuck you. Yeah. Plus you get to play 106 checks. How do you fail anything?
And you get to confirm, right? Like that was my meme Hellfire deck. Was I played Janet with 101 checks, and then defensively you get to peek and know if you're about to check a 1.
Yeah, like
no.
I think we'll fucking get this out of here. Yeah, no, she seems like something that I would like. I guess I liked the idea of like that combo itself. Like even if I played it with Spike, I think I like the idea of this character probably shouldn't do this because they have bad wording on their character cards.
Right.
Probably should have been a character effect that said this, not card pool, but whatever.
I think that's
I like the idea of doubling the damage.
Yeah. Especially since it shares symbols with, shotgun and vengeance.
Or reduce the damage to nothing.
Also, after blocking something with a 0 mid.
Yeah. Perfect. Easy game.
Sounds rad.
And have a 1/5 that picks it up for free on a 6 check.
Oh, yeah.
Seems good.
Pretty okay. Well,
but
okay.
I think that's the meta, right? Like that's like not to like that is the meta right now. Is that fucking clown, right? I can't really think of things that aren't him.
It's like I tested a little bit of the spike, and it is as not as everybody thinks it is. But like Alex, I played Alex Marco, and he was playing an Earthless with just a billion overly dramatic, and he was
I'll do it.
Yeah, that'll get over it. So there are answers to it. I think that it's not something that won't be solved. And I also think that Jasko will probably make it a noob response after they sell, all the copies.
All of them, yeah. After they sell all of them, after it fucks up two PTCs, and a week before Nationals, it'll get errated.
It'll get banned there or errated. Yeah. To noob response.
A week before Nationals, it'll be a noob response only.
Can
you imagine a character card though that says noob R on a noob character card just because they
didn't put a character on?
My thought process in my head was like, oh, they should just change it to like R card pool, flip a character, and I was like, oh, they can't do that because then you could block with any character. They'd have to change it to like R response, flip a noob Cybot in your card pool.
I don't know. Is that so different from like if you're playing a bunch of character cards? I've been trying to make character cards. I mean, you've seen my character card decks. I've been trying to make them fun, right, and viable, right. And Quachi was real good, but I don't think that flip a character card in your card pool for plus X or minus X is actually as insane as you're saying it is, right? Like if it did say that, no, seriously, because like. If they know exactly what's going to happen, and it's base stats, right? And so that's punishing for things like shotgun that have printed 6-7 damage. But like, there's so much pump in the game. Like, I don't actually think.
Shotgun's going to go down to 0 and then go back up to 15 anyway. So who gives a shit?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, I don't think it would be that insane if he could just like if they had a buddy blocking character.
It could be something like that. I understand like the concept of it. In my head, it just seems so silly to me. When I was like, so like, what's the point? You don't even have to play him. You could like, you're obviously going to for his other effect, but like, you don't even have to play noob Cybots, which that makes more sense when you're selling a demo deck or a DLC pack that only comes with one of them.
Yeah.
Stop putting stackers in DLC packs, but yeah, I get the concept of stackers in DLC packs too, because you're a business and you have to make money.
Right.
It's scummy, but it is a correct business strategy.
Wait, like if it were my business and I wasn't able to sell like boxes because Funimation is being a butt about My Hero or whatever, I can see it. Like, they gotta make their money, and like if like getting 20 or I don't know how many cards in a DLC pack. It's 3 per character. There's 4 characters. So
30,
12 cards. You get 12 cards. Oh no, you get two of them. So it's a bunch of cards, and they're all like for that character. You don't have to dig through sets for like URs and things like that. Yeah. So like $120, you get a place. You get 2 play sets of 2 cards and a full play set of each character.
Yeah,
isn't that much different from like digging for all of those shield big bangs?
Yeah, no. Like it's totally actually pretty reasonable. Yeah. It's just it only hurts the people who don't have money. But
yeah, well, and it hurts the secondary market, right? Like, because
fuck it, dude.
Yeah,
you're just a living card game at that point. Fuck it.
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah. I don't mind it that terribly. I do wish that they weren't putting staggers in there, because that if you are, at least put 2 of them like every other card.
Yeah,
to make the intent more like to come across to the buyer.
Yeah, no, I get that one as well.
Yeah.
I don't have any like real press. Anytime they have a stacker, it's always kind of like a weird like, what are they gonna do with it? Because like even the Chibi 7th Cross characters, like those are $1 billion.
Yeah,
like,
they're hard to find.
Those are hard to find because that set's so bad.
I didn't realize how hard they were to find, because
they got to be like 30 a piece at this point, dude. I'm not
they're crazy.
And I refuse to not play with the chibi ones. Like, I'm not gonna play with fucking normal ass ones. Fuck that.
That's like if you were playing Quan Chi, you had to get 4 of the black background Sunmina, right?
You had to,
You
dude. You
had
had
to.
to.
Yeah, if you didn't, you didn't play Quan Chi. Okay, that's
No,
how that works.
you were playing Quan Chi wrong. Is what you were doing. Danny Fung, I'm talking to you in your poverty Quan Chi deck that you still have. Give me my cards back. Him and Mike Lowe just have my deck still. Like, they have shotguns and nutcrackers that are just mine.
Holy smokes. Hey,
I'm not hurting for them, dude. It's fine. I have 4 play sets of nutcracker for no reason.
Jesus.
Yeah,
And yet you still needed copies of Sense of Morals. What?
Yeah, that's correct. That is correct. But I do have nutcrackers for sale. Hit me up, guys. I got a play set.
Okay, man. Do you have any shout outs you want to give?
Well, shout out to Legendary Wolf Games. I have to do that even though they don't pay me right now. And still haven't.
Miles says it's coming.
Guys. No shame, guys. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. I'm not worried about it. Listen, it's a weird time right now. I understand.
Yeah, definitely.
Shout outs to that. Shout outs to fucking Ben and Dave, because those guys are like the best team. I know I didn't team with them and then they immediately got last place, but that's okay. Like, we'll team again and get second or whatever, or first. I've decided I'm the crux of the team, obviously, if I can get second place to Danny Fung and Mike Lowe. Shout out to those guys for getting to finals. Danny Fung carrying me through top 8. And then we all crashed and burned in finals to broken decks. All the Legendary Wolf dudes, shout out to you for fucking having this interview and doing research on a 4-year-old deck that nobody knows any of the cards of.
It's not so easy, man.
Not so easy. Maybe 20% of that deck is still in the meta. Maybe. I don't know how many cards I played from Battle for Power. Besides,
we can tell right now. Hunt for Spiders still around. Petrol
Tiger
Power
Dive.
technically still
Tornado
around.
Hold.
Tornado Hold revokes, of course. Transform.
Petrol Power.
Petrol Power.
We'll call it 20%. Generous 20% of that deck is still around.
Buy your copies at legendarywolfgames.com.
Yeah, buy your copies of an old deck from legendarywolfgames.com. You might be able to get a deal. It's fun to fishbowl. You'll have a great time. Yeah, man. I don't know, dude. Shout outs to everybody, basically. We have a really good time playing. I can't wait to get back to it. It's just a matter of, like, I'll be out of practice because everybody else likes to play on the internet, and I think it's abysmal. But I guess, like, I might be talked into it eventually. So if you guys really want to talk me into it, just hit me up on Facebook or whatever, and I'll eventually cave when I'm not playing Legends of Runeterra or whatever.
Valorant and...
Dude, shut up, man. Come on. Riot Games make such good games. No, it's a doozy of a quarantine, guys. So, and I can't plug my headset in right now. But yeah, I don't know, dude. Everybody keep doing what you're doing, guys. Practice it up. I look forward to the competition eventually. And like eventually we're gonna get back together, get through all this crazy nonsense, and you're gonna look back at this interview and be like, wow, that was inspirational. Look how much of an idiot you can play like and still win. Shout outs to everybody who's ever been an idiot and thought they could win, because you're right. You don't need to do complicated math like Tim Keefe and Kevin Broberg or Garrett Brett. You can actually just play like a moron and win games.
For every Kevin Broberg, there is a Phil Birch.
For every Kevin Broberg, there are 15 Phil Birches. There is not enough. No, absolutely not. Kevin Broberg and his 50 good cards and 10 bad ones that he puts in every deck. Shout out to Kevin Broberg playing Kali-Yuga and Mitsurugi, or Yoshimitsu with its not sharing symbols.
That deck was so good, though.
Yeah, it was so good that he didn't make top 16.
Dude.
It was so cool.
It was so cool. Okay, it was so cool. Man. It was very cool, man. I loved watching that deck.
No, I actually thought the deck was sick as fuck, and I'm kind of disappointed he didn't make top 16. But that's UFS. You run into like the fucking crazy shit and you lose. Like,
oh yeah, sometimes I've told everybody I got turn 1 fucking 6 times at Worlds. Like,
that was sick. I beat every single person. I beat every single person who turned 1 to you. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because
I 2-0'd everybody who turned 1 to you.
You had 8 more life than I did.
8 more life, and if they hit me on turn 1, I'm probably killing them on turn 2.
Oh yeah. Okay, man. Thanks so much.
Yeah, dude. No worries. Thanks for having me.